Hello, it's Saturday, December 16th. Kuna Matata to all my friends out there. I got some good comments last month, and it's really refreshing to have the ability to communicate with you guys. So I appreciate you guys making comments. It means a lot to me to know that you've got some interest in what I'm doing, and it means a lot to me. So thanks. So we're continuing on with the mini split air conditioner. We definitely have a refrigerant leak. And so what we're going to do is we're going to isolate where the leak is. Most likely it's at these connections where the lines are meeting the indoor evaporator unit. I bubble checked them last time and they didn't leak, but I didn't get that aggressive with it. And I didn't try to tighten them. I don't know. I just did the bubble check. But we're taking this to the next level now. So what we're doing... I've gone out to my outside unit, which now I'm just thinking I need to open up the breaker so I don't accidentally turn it on. But I've closed these two valves on the condenser unit. Now, when you buy these things brand new, they're fully charged with refrigerant, and all the refrigerant is in the condenser unit. And these valves are closed. This is a little needle valve right there. And that needle would be all the way down, sealing off this port to this line right here. Is that right? No. Right here, this bottom line. The little thin line right there. And this one as well. So this would be screwed all the way down and closing off the port to this line with the curly Q in it right there. So that would keep the refrigerant locked into the condenser unit. That also is going to block off these lines completely. Now these I did bubble check, and I also put a wrench on them, and they're tight. And it doesn't look like they're leaking out there, but we don't know. So what I bought is these two fittings. This is a 1/4 inch 45-degree flare fitting. This is the same size that the gauge manifold service lines have, and it happens to be also the same size as one of the copper tube lines. The other copper tube line is 3/8. So I bought these two fittings. This one's adapter. This goes from 3/8 down to 1/4. So I'll be able to screw this into the end of the line, and then I'll be able to put my manifold gauge set on these two fittings. And I'm going to pressurize the lines and leave it and wait for it to show itself as having a leak. If it does, then I know my leak is in the lines. If it doesn't, which I'm pretty sure it doesn't, but you don't know for sure. So if there is no leak in the lines, then it's the connection point or the evaporator itself. All right, so when I do this, I'm also planning on taking the evaporator unit off the wall, and then I'll also be able to do this same test, except I'll have to get a 3/8 cap, because the evaporator, two lines on the evaporator look like this. There's a 1/4 inch and a 3/8. So I'll put a cap on this line, and then I'll put the service port on this line, and I'll pressurize the evaporator and wait for it itself to show that it's got a leak. Let me show you what I've got going so far. Alrighty, so I'm over here laying on my back and looking up underneath the evaporator unit. So I'm really glad that I designed this the way I did, so I can service this thing easily with the air conditioner still hanging on its bracket, because these things are kind of a pain. You got to tip them out and all that stuff. Unfortunately for me, the one up front, I don't have this luxury, but hopefully I don't ever have to work on that one. So here's the two connections I was talking about. Here's the 1/4 inch one, and there's the 3/8 one. So I'm going to get some wrenches, crack these loose. The only gas that's going to be in here is what's in these lines and in the evaporator, which is going to be next to nothing because it's already leaked out. I'm not going to show you me doing this because I don't have a camera stand, and that'll take more than 2 hands. So give me one moment. I got the coupler fittings installed and tight here. As best as I can tell, the flares look fine. There are some lines and stuff on this one, but I think they're dents. Looking on the inside of the line, I didn't see any cracks or anything, but really couldn't say 100% sure. But anyway, so this is the whole purpose for the fittings that I bought. I've got my manifold gauges set here, and these are on there nice and tight. So unfortunately, I've picked a rainy day to do all this work, and I can't leave my door open, so I'm going in and out and selectively closing the door, all that. But my manifold gauge set is down there below the bed, and my propane tank, not propane tank, my refrigerant tank is down there too. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down outside and gas the lines up. Okay, so I've got my tank connected and on, and whatever tank pressure we've got right now, we've got in the lines. So I'm going to close up everything here. Closed. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna, I need 2 hands for this. We're gonna close the tank off down there. So unfortunately, the way the wind was blowing, it's blowing right in this door. And we got the bed all wet and everything, but not much. So we're pressurized here. Wiggle, wiggle. Okay. And now I'm going to remove this guy so I can get a good inspection on what's going on in there. Because I'm pretty sure that the leak is inside this thing anyway. So to get this out, all we got is the 2 drain lines, one here and that white one, and the electric cord, which is right here. And that's all loose on that side. I got one tie wrap, zip tie right there. And then the way I put this together, I've got a screw terminal junction block right there to make this a little easier to work with. So that's going to be easy. I just have to make sure that I notate which way all those wires go right there. And we'll be able to take this thing off lickety split, hopefully. So they're starting from the front. It's I don't know why we're not focusing here. Black, white, green, red. And I've got to actually remove the screws because they're eyes, not fork terminals. So if I had to guess, I would say there's a high probability of leak where this steel line has reacted with the copper. I mean, the steel spring has reacted with this copper line. Don't know exactly if that's the case or not, but yeah, it's pretty ate up right there. And I guess the manufacturer put this spring on here so they could make the bends with less probability of kinking the line. But I mean, look at all the rust. So maybe we will get lucky with this, and it's not the evaporator that's the problem, it's this line right here. Wow, that'd be wonderful, wouldn't it? Save myself like $600 for another air conditioner. All right. Let me see if I can peel the spring off of there. Well, it's promising. It's very kind of pitted and ate up in this area right here. Could be a pinhole anywhere around here. Up here, I think we're all right. This stuff is hard to get off. It's hardened steel, it's like spring steel. And I was like unwrapping it in order to get it off. And it's just any moment now, you know, you're going to stick one of these ends right in your finger, you know. All right, let me clean all this up. I got to clean all that up. I think I'll be able to hose that out, actually. And I'm not sure what I'm going to use to clean this. I'm all out of sandpaper. All I have is some 600 grit. It's just too darn fine. I guess I can try. Good morning. It's Sunday, December 17, and we've got some interesting results. The red gauge held pressure. The blue gauge has gone down to 50. Granted, this is a real, that wasn't completely tight. Not a very large volume, but that shouldn't have gone down that far. Maybe we do have a problem here with lines. Okay, I'm going to redo this test with the red and the blue hoses swapped, just to make sure that I don't have a leak in my manifold gauge. That's the only thing I could think, because I really find it hard to believe that I got a leak in my copper tube. It's only 4 years old. But I'm going to redo that test later. For now, I'm going to test this. Now I've got the red hose connected. That's the one that did not show a leak on the other test. We're going to, actually, there's still pressure. Let me just open this valve and see what we got. All right. We're down to 150. We've got this plugged. I was hoping that there would be a very obvious leak here. Let me open up the tank so I can get a little bit more pressure. Well, I'm very disappointed. It's not leaking. I was hoping that there was going to be a very obvious leak in this tube right here. But I got, what is that, 206, 207 PSI, and I don't see any leaks. Don't hear any obvious leaks anyway. Let me put some soap on this tube here. All right, it's Monday, December 18th. We let this sit all day yesterday and overnight. And what I did was I closed the valve off on my manifold hose to isolate my manifold from the system. In case this thing had a leak, I would like to know about it. So we're still right about where it was yesterday evening. Now it got pretty chilly here, so that it's about 2 pounds less, I guess. Now if I open this and we lose all pressure, yep, the evaporator's leaking. Well, I've already given up on this thing, but I thought I'd take it apart and see what I could see, and pretty sure I found out where the leak is. I'm not sure this is going to show up well in the video, but if you look at these tubes in this area, they're all shiny. So they got a little bit of an oil film on them, and I could feel that with my finger. So it's, you know, somewhere in the vicinity of these guys. And I guess if you were really ambitious, you could try to fix this thing, but I ain't gonna mess with it. It's not worth it. If I could patch one leak somewhere, it might pop a leak somewhere else. So we're gonna get another one. Hello, it's December 18th, Monday, and we're rechecking this 3/8 line since it showed a little bit of leakage the other day when we checked it. So I put a plug here to positively seal this, just in case maybe this valve was leaking. And we're going to repressurize up at the other end of this line and verify that I don't need to change this line out or redo the ends or something. All right, that looks like hair over 180 psi. And we got all our valves shut here. You go upstairs, and I'm going to shut the ball valve up at the other end of the hose. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to get a cup of water, and I can put the other end of the hose in it to check for any bubbles at that plug. Okay, no bubbles here. Not a one. Well, I had a backup and punt. When I was checking for leaks, I did the bubble check down at the condenser unit with a cup of water, and that was fine. Then I went up top and did the soap bubble check at the coupler up there where the hose meets the copper tubing. The coupler had a little nick in the 45-degree flare that was causing a leak there, darn it. So I took the fitting out, put it in my drill, and polished the end of it nice and shiny, and now it's not leaking up there. So like I said, we got 215-ish pounds here. I'm gonna go ahead and close this. This is, everything's closed and tight, and I shut the ball valve off at the top. So we'll see how well this holds 215 psi till tomorrow. Good morning. It's Tuesday, December 19th, 2023. And it's gotten quite chilly. I think it's like 60 something degrees indoors. It was in the, I think, high 50s last night. So the pressures in this line may go down slightly. Let me open this valve and see what we see here. All right, it went down slightly, which I would have expected due to the temperature change, but we're holding. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and close this again. And I've got things to do today, so I'm going to take care of business and come back later. It'll be warmer, and we'll do the same test again. Now, let's see how we're doing. Okay, perfect. I'm good with that.